It is the 2024 NCAA Track and Field Championships, continuing from historic Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. Hello, everyone. I am John Anderson. It is the final day of these championships, which means the meet belongs to the women. Talented, fiercely competitive women vying for national titles individually and a team title, which basically means it's like any other meet, you'll just remember the rest of your life. 127 schools are here represented on the women's side, but there's only a handful with the firepower to actually compete for the top spot on the podium. What you got to have is big point scorers, and then if you can supplement the cause with a 6th or a 7th place here and there, that goes a long way to getting themselves that national championship. After semifinal day, Florida leads with 26 points, so a sweep is very possible as the Gators have opportunities to score. The home team, Oregon, in third, but they have athletes, sprinters and throwers that could push them up to the top. And then, of course, Arkansas is the defending champ. Right now, they're tied for 26th. I don't envision they're staying there very long, but they're going to try to bludgeon people with 400s, like the 4x1, the open 400, the 400 hurdles, and, of course, the 4x4. Let's go upstairs. Dwight Stones, Dan O'Brien, Robert Griffin III, Lara Overton to call all the action.
All right, John, we get things started off as always with the 4x1 relay. Texas with the meet and collegiate record, the fastest time this year. The squad by Ole Miss, who is represented in this final. But our first look is at Arkansas, the Lady Razorbacks, starting in lane number 7. This is an event they have never won at the NCAA championships.
Well, they ran fantastic in the semifinals, and there you see Rosie Effiong, Kaylin Brown, and Amber Anning, the 3 of the 4 that we're going to see in the open 400 meters go in this 4x1. They can really roll, even though they're 400-meter runners.
Yes, and you're talking about the skill you see on your screen right now. Ole Miss, the collegiate leaders, ran a school record of 42-22 in the semifinals. They will have the woman who everyone will have their eyes on today, Mackenzie Long, running the second leg. But guess what, guys? This is not about having the 4 fastest people. This is about having clean exchanges and staying within the zone.
Ole Miss, like Arkansas, have never won this event at the NCAA championships.
We can't fail to mention LSU. Running in lane 5, they will have Team of God Bless running the anchor leg. They might try to play spoiler in this bad boy.
Brianna Liston will lead off for the LSU Tigers. Kavona Davis will run second for Texas, as well as Jaden Mays for the Oregon Ducks.
LSU has won this event several times. LSU in 5, Ole Miss in 6, Arkansas in 7. That's where we expect the action to be. A very good run for LSU on the first leg and a good exchange.
Well, good handoff for Arkansas just on the outside of Mackenzie Long, but expect Mackenzie Long now to go past Rosie Effiong there on that second leg.
Ole Miss ending first thanks to that great backstretch by Mackenzie Long, but there's still half the race to run. Gabrielle Matthews for the Runnin' Rebs. It is Ole Miss. They had the collegiate leading time, and they're going to win with the 10 points that go along with it. First time ever in the 4x1. Let's check the time. Not as fast as Thursday, but the time doesn't matter. It's the title and the 10 points that go along with it.
Wow, what a start for Ole Miss. Mackenzie Long really got things going on that back straight, but wow, we talked about, coming in here, have we seen teams win the 4x1, the 100 meters and the 200 meters. Now it puts Ole Miss in position to do that. There you see Arkansas on the outside. Ole Miss, that's Akilah Lewis, the senior, and she'll go to Mackenzie Long, Robert.
Yes, and Mackenzie Long, they do a nice job with the exchange, and then you see her start to pull away just a little bit from LSU. But I gotta say, guys, on this third leg, Gabrielle Matthews doing an amazing job of running the curve into it. Look at that look on her face. She said, ooh-wee, I'm ready to eat. And she gives it to their anchor leg and Janiah Bowers, and that's the end of it for Ole Miss. They get it in the lead. They finish with the lead. And we also want to point out, South Carolina. And out of lane 8, Jamisha Ford did a really nice job of closing down the stretch to get them into medal position in third. But right there, Janiah Bowers going to be a national champion in the 4x100 meter relay.
Well, no doubt about it that Mackenzie Long, their star sprinter, made that happen for the Ole Miss Rebels on the backstretch. They win it, and with the 10 points that go along with it, Arkansas only managed to get fourth. South Carolina running themselves in to the top three. So the relay is in the books. And
we are back, and I'm going to keep this simple because this meet is idiot-proof. Get athletes on the track, let them run. Get them in a ring, let them throw. Put them on an apron or runway, and then just let them jump, and they will shine. Idiot-proof. That's all you need to know. That's it. That's all of it. And with that, we're going to go upstairs to Dwight and Dan and Robert and Lara, because from where I am, I see you all up there. You look good. Have a great day at work.
All right, John, well, we got a little bit cooler conditions and some cloud cover today. That should be helpful for the sprinters, jumpers, throwers, and distance runners. And speaking of that, when you're looking at the team title, much like yesterday, Robert, with the men, it really is about speed for the teams that are in contention.
Oh, yes, it is about speed. And Dwight, I asked my 4 daughters today, I said, what do you want to see from the girls? They said, we want to see them run fast, Daddy. Well, guess what? Speed kills, and that's what you're going to see today. Talking about Brianna Lisson from LSU trying to take an iron throne in the 100 and the 200. You got Jaden Mays from Oregon trying to protect her house in the 100 and the 200, and Mackenzie Long from Ole Miss is already on pace to potentially get that triple crown. So I can't wait to see it, and know you guys are going to be excited covering it.
Well, speed is going to be the word of the day in the women's 400 as well. Guys, we could be seeing history here today. This Arkansas quartet, they're absolutely phenomenal. Amber Anning, Rosie Effion, Kaylin Brown, and of course Nikisha Price. They've got their top-ranked 400-meter runners that got almost half the field. We've seen teams go 1, 2, 3 in an event, but we haven't seen anybody go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just not a sweep. That's a super sweep. And you want to add Rachel Glenn to the mix? Oh, game over. Arkansas wins the national title.
And it was 1 year ago at this meet that Parker Valby put the track and field world on notice when she won her first NCAA title. In the last 12 months, she has won 5 NCAA titles. And this is what you're going to want to notice this afternoon. This is a signal that Parker Valby was waiting for on the backstretch in that 10,000. That was her cue from the Florida coaches to go, take the lead, and go to the front when she won the 10,000 title 2 nights ago. We'll see when she gets that signal as she goes for a repeat at the 5,000 at the end of the meet. She'll have plenty of her teammates on track as well as the Gators have finalists in the 15 and the steeplechase.
Dan, how did we become a tall white blonde woman there for a second?
Okay, next event on the track, it is the women's 1,500-meter final. There are the collegiate and meet records. Maya Ramsden with the collegiate lead this year in a meet just a couple weeks ago down in L.A. Half the field that came here is still here. 12 finalists. There is Maya Ramsden, the collegiate leader and the defending champion.
She's been running incredibly in the 2024 season. In addition to that indoor mile championship title, she ran in the World Indoor Championships as well. Flomena Asakel, part of that Gator distance squad representing today. She aims to score big points to help Florida's team chances. She is a 3-time cross-country All-American. And this was an incredibly fast qualifying heat to get into the finals. Not sure we have seen a 1,500-meter field this deep. Watch for the duo, Shannon Flockhart and Kimberly May of Providence.
So the Friars with a couple opportunities to score in this women's 1,500-meter final. It is a little bit muggy today by comparison to the other days, and we're on earlier than we have been as well. But the temperature down ever so slightly, mid-70s. Lots of clouds in the sky today, but a lot of sun on the track.
Asakel making a bolt there to get onto the shoulder of Maya Ramsden. That is Lindsey Butler up front of Virginia Tech. She has an NCAA indoor title to her credit in the 800 meters.
Lindsey Butler, daughter of Bill Butler, a vaulter at Maryland back in the 80s. You can see they're pretty bunched up, so not exactly a blistering pace that's being set, but nobody heading Lindsey Butler. As they're going to come up to the 400 meters, we get a chance to see what kind of pace they're actually on.
Lara, what race pattern best fits Maya Ramsden, the defending national champion?
She can win in a lot of different ways. That's what we saw basically over the last calendar year. 68 seconds for that opening 400 meters, and she had a phenomenal finishing kick at this meet last year to win the 1500 title. Indoors, it shaped up somewhat more evenly, so I think that's one of the ways she's really developed. And her coach Alex Gibby told me this week she's really taken steps mentally and physically. She has very focused goals this season. That was a breakthrough for her during the outdoor campaign that set her up for success, and she is aiming not only to defend her 1500 meter title, she also has her sights set on representing New Zealand at the Paris Olympics later this summer. She was just off the Olympic qualifying standard a few weeks ago at the LA Grand Prix, and this is shaping up to be a kicker's race.
Looking at it from a team standpoint, Florida is really hoping for Flamina Asico, who's currently in third and just on the outside of lane one, looking for her to get as many points as possible, knowing they're going to do well with Parker Valby in the 5,000, Grace Stark in the hurdles. They really need their stars who got through here to score big in these finals.
That is Claudia Kazmierska representing the Ducks on her home track. She has been top 5 in this event before. She was 4th last year. It means a whole lot for her to get and fight her way into contention for a title on her home track. Elliott Cook almost did it yesterday for the Ducks in the 1500, and she certainly took note of that. She is fighting her way. You cannot miss that bright yellow of Oregon, and she's sneaking her way up the rail, getting into a little bit of traffic as well. You saw her run right into Melissa Riggins. A lot of traffic back there. That's Sam Bush of NC State now on the outside of Claudia Kazmierska. And Maya Ramsden has broken this race open. Will anyone go with her?
She started to make the move just after the 200-meter mark and gapped Flamina Asico. Asico, the only one with any type of a response at the bell. It is Maya Ramsden trying to do it from about 500 meters out. But that opening 2:19.800 is what played into this. Ramsden now in full sprint, trying to defend her title. Flamina Asico in no man's land right now. The peloton is going to pull her in. That was a 61-second 400-meter lap for Maya Ramsden. That is why she is so far in front. And here comes Oregon's Claudia Kazmierska, much to the delight of the crowd.
Does she have the time to close the gap?
Asico back to 4th.
Here comes Kimberly May charging as well. Can anyone catch Maya Ramsden?
No, it's not going to happen. Maya Ramsden is going to successfully defend. And because it's such a slow first 800, no chance of getting the Olympic qualifier. She'll have to let that go for another day. Kimberly May doing a great job holding off Kazmierska, and Asico ends up finishing 5th. She's passed right at the wire. I think that's Melissa Riggins of Georgetown who snuck in for that 4th spot. 61-second last lap, so 2:02 roughly for the last 800 for Maya Ramsden. She just ran away with this thing from half the race out.
That is her 3rd NCAA title in the last year. She is the last to go back-to-back since Mississippi State's Tiffany McWilliams in 2003 and 2004. It took 20 years to accomplish the feat that Maya Ramsden just did, dominating the 1500 meters, even has a chance to glance back. That is how much of a commanding lead she had over the field. She is scheduled to come back in the 5,000. Could we see her in contention for a 2nd title in this championship later on this afternoon?
Well, it was all set up by that slow early pace, and she just had more legs than anybody else in the field. Maya Ramsden successfully defends her title, wins it over Kimberly May of Providence. Claudia Kazmierska wows the crowd and gets 3rd. Flamina Asico just 4 points for the Gators in that 5th place position. The winner is downstairs with John.
Thank you, Dwight. Pre-interview, I found out that was hard. We're going to expand on that now. What part is the hardest part of that race?
The lead up. The race itself, we've done a million times. Just kind of staying calm. Every year it's different. You know, I think I said in this position last year, 2 years ago, I was super scared. Now I wasn't scared, but there's new challenges with the new expectations and just trying to navigate those. And it's my last NCAA race. And I thought I was ready to be done, and now I'm here.
New expectations and high expectations after winning last year, winning indoor this one. Not a very quick first half of that race. Plan for you, how it fell to you, and then why at 700 you decided this is where I really need to break this thing open.
Yeah, Gibby and I talked about going a couple different places. This was my worst nightmare, getting out slow. I like it when it's a quick race and you can just hold on and kick hard, but those big gear changes are more difficult. But Gibby's last words to me before I got on the line were like, trust yourself, so that's what I was trying to do.
If I ask about the 5,000, you're going to punch me in the arm or anything?
A little bit.
Okay, we'll let you go. Thanks. Upstairs. Dwight?
All right, John. Well, an outstanding run by Maya Ramsden, reading the room extremely well with 700 meters to go. When we return, more middle distance running. The steeplechase is next. So let's take a look at the standings. It's early on. We've got some finals from Thursday in there, as well as the relay and the 1500. Florida now an 8-point lead over Oregon and Nebraska, who are tied, and then Ole Miss up there in 4th place on the strength of that relay victory. So let's take a look at some field events. It just happens to be the high jump, and here is the favorite, the collegiate record holder, Rachel Glenn, the junior from Arkansas, transfer from South Carolina. The bar at 5'9 3/4. And for how low a height that is, I'm not terribly impressed with that clearance. She has the 400 hurdle final that she's got to contest in a couple of hours. Here's her first attempt at 5'11.5, and she just jumps right into the pit. In the high jump, you got to jump into the air. The pit is there. So she takes it off with her lower legs. So she goes back, tries to make that adjustment. I think she's a little on the close side, to be honest. There might be some tailwind behind her. She's a very powerful high jumper. But if you get into a situation where you have a fast runway and a tailwind, you really have to make the adjustment and move your start mark back. Identical to the first attempt. Just not getting up in the air, too much horizontal, and really riding the bar. Look at where she lands, all the way at the far standard. 2 misses at an intermediate height for the favorite and the collegiate record holder. Over to Dan for some discus.
Well, let's take a look at the leader in the discus right now. This is Melina Whippaway, the freshman from Harvard, by way of Germany. And on her second attempt, she would throw an 11-foot PR and go up to 194.4. She's a current leader right now. They're in between flights. Warm-ups are in order for flight 2, so early going in the discus.
All right, the next event on the track, it's the steeplechase final. There are the collegiate and meet records, both set 2 years ago. And there is the favorite on paper, Doris Lemongole, the fantastic freshman from Alabama and Kenya.
The fastest time among collegians so far this season, 9:22.31. And here is the reigning steeple champion, Olivia Marquezich of Notre Dame. She has run really well on this track as well. She was 4th at the U.S. Championships here 1 year ago.
And because it's an inside water jump, they start on the backstretch. They will go by the water jump the first time around and take their first barrier just past the start-finish line. 4 barriers per lap, plus the water jump. And it's the Fighting Irish duo up front. Also some very important Florida points to be had here with Elise Thorner of Florida, the senior from Great Britain.
Also note that is Greta Karina Skaita, who is on the shoulder of Marquezich. She's in the all blue with the Cal Baptist across the chest. She finished runner-up last year in this race. She aggressively went out to the front and had a commanding lead, but then Marquezich was able to draw upon that an incredible closing kick on the final lap. So it'll be interesting to see how much differently, or should it differently, which looks like right now it will play out from what we experienced last year. Doris Lemongole being a bit of a wild card in this, being that she is a freshman at Alabama. Worth noting, though, she and Marquezich did go head-to-head earlier this season at Wake Forest, so some familiarity with these athletes running in the same competition.
First time over the water jump in the women's steeple. These barriers and water jump are 30 inches high as compared to the men, who are 36 inches high. That's the senior Greta Karanaskaita of California Baptist, Costa Mesa, California, Orange County, my neck of the woods. And the pace has picked up thanks to Karinaskaita getting up there and pushing things a little bit. When Marsikic won the title last year, she ran the 3rd fastest performance in collegiate history, but the event continues to improve, times continuing to drop.
And at the NCAA level, it continues to get even more international with the number of athletes who you have here at this championship and those who have aspirations of representing in the Olympic Games. 76-second last 400 meters, and that is what I was told they were kind of aiming for. The opening few laps, they were going to feel it out, be somewhere between the 76 and 79 second mark. See how things settle in and adjust accordingly. As you watch them hurdle, one of the critical factors is how much time you spend in the air. Not everyone has perfect hurdle technique, but the least amount of time possible you can be in the air is going to help, because you want to be able to keep that speed carrying you through. Also critical, how much momentum can you get off of the water jump? And this is something that Markizic is really good at. She projects well out of the water and was able to see, she does not lose a step coming out of it. That's sometimes when people get trapped at that point.
Karinaskaita also very good at it. She's got the exact right stride length, and she does not miss her rhythm off of the water jump. The closer you can get to the end of that water, it's where it's most shallow, and if that matches with your natural stride rhythm off of the push at the top of the barrier, you get your momentum to continue. And in that last lap, that is critical, because there's just one barrier remaining after that water jump, and we've seen a lot of national championship hopes dashed by failing at that final water jump and that final barrier.
And not only is Karinaskaita a really good and efficient hurdler, she's gained valuable experience in the last year. In addition to that runner-up effort last year at this meet, she went on to represent Lithuania at the World Championships. So as she continues to get more experienced, it's only benefiting her and complementing just how strong she is as a runner and hurdler.
Olivia Markizic has the Olympic qualifying standard, so she'll be right back here in a few weeks contesting the Olympic trials, trying to make the U.S. team.
We've pointed out Elise Thorner of Florida in the all-white. Just behind her is Laura Taborda of Arkansas. And when you're talking about team implications, her placing is significant here. She was last year's Portuguese steeplechase champion and ran her personal best in the semifinal just 2 days ago, Dwight. And that's always an important factor to note, because when an athlete can PR in the semifinal, that's a good indication that they are primed and ready to do something special into a final. And she's in good position right now, setting in 5th alongside her conference mates Elise Thorner and Doris Lemon-Golay.
75.5 the last lap, 9:28 pace now. Doris Lemon-Golay right up there, marking both Karinaskaita and Markizic, just in case anything happens, but they're slowing things down now. You can start to see the top 6 or 7 bunching up a bit, and that's problematic in any race, but more so in the steeplechase, because you've got to have room to figure out your approach to these barriers, and more importantly even than the water jump. And let's revisit what we talked about yesterday and what the coaches have said about this lead-in, the lead-in ramp to the water jump here at Hayward Field.
Lemon-Golay did an excellent job of doing exactly that, Dwight. I was talking to coaches who say you really have to accelerate even going into the turn. You cannot wait to see where the water jump is to go. You have to start to accelerate before you even see it, because you'll lose momentum if you don't continue to accelerate all the way going into that water jump. And if you wait to see it, you're too close to it. It's just about 6 strides before you get to it, with just how steep of a curve that is. Lemon-Golay going out to the edge of lane 1, even bouncing out into lane 2 just a bit, but a response from Markizic. She is going to fight with her and go.
Lemon-Golay right there on the outside of lane 1 with Markizic up against the rail. It's hard for you to see what we were talking about with this water jump, because in most stadiums where the water jump is inside, it's right in the middle of the turn. So you have an equal amount of space going into the jump and out of it. But here it's a bit off center. It's closer to the track as they enter it, so that gives them the shorter run in and makes it more difficult for them to gauge their steps. They have to become a little bit like a horizontal or vertical jumper to figure out where their steps should be.
And that's a beautiful vantage point of it right there. Thanks to our fantastic production crew for allowing us to see it. And now you can see some of those who are in the trail pack, kind of plopping into the water as that fatigue sets in. Now, when Markovic and Lemon-Golay went head-to-head at Wake Forest, it was 1 mile to go that Lemon-Golay plotted her move. She glances to see exactly where she is. She has gapped a little bit on Markovic to this point. As they come up with 2 laps to go, we will see how much of a surge Lemon-Golay is able to put in and how much Markovic is able to react, and she reacts very well. She was able to take advantage thanks to that fantastic hurdle right there. Markovic, much more experienced in championship settings, but Lemon-Golay, an incredibly high ceiling in this event.
Lara, we just saw 1,500 meter reigning champion Maya Ramzan show the world that Harvard does a little bit more than just studying, right? They run, but she made a move and laid the hammer down so that the field would not be able to cover it. Who do you think this race right now favors? Does it favor Markovic, who is the reigning champ, or Lemon-Golay right now with the way they're running?
They both have fantastic closing kicks, so it's kind of equal at this point because Markovic was unfazed when she had to close on Karina Skaita to win the title 1 year ago, and here she goes, right here. She's not going to wait until the bell. Markovic is going to try to press. At this point, it is the savvy senior versus the freshman phenom over the final 500 meters.
And I'll mention something else. When Markovic sees that Lemon-Golay struggles a little bit on the landings from these barriers and isn't quite right, doesn't feel quite right, that's a sign to her that she's tiring. As it is, Lemon-Golay does not have great hurdle technique anyway. So at this point, maybe she just sits back, waits to make her move based on how Lemon-Golay takes this next barrier and the final water jump. 68.5 on that last lap, so they're definitely cranking up, and a little bit of a gap developing from Lemon-Golay back to Markovic.
Markovic is losing really no space, though. At this point, she's maintained the same distance. Lemon-Golay is trying to get herself some insurance going into the water jump. This is critical.
From a team standpoint, Elise Thorner now back to 6th place for Florida. It's a good water jump for Lemon-Golay. She showed nothing on that. Now just 1 barrier remaining and about an 8-meter lead. Markovic has got to move now and hope that Lemon-Golay has a tough final barrier or it's over. And we might be looking at a meet record here. Meet record is 9:25.03. 9:16, sorry, meet record, that's correct. And she's going to get it. Doris Lemon-Golay is going to set the collegiate record and get the meet record. The fabulous freshman from Alabama and West Pokot County, Kenya, breaks the collegiate record, wins the national title, and the collegiate record to boot. Elise Thorner finishing in 6th place. Sorry, Lara. That'll score 3 points for the Gators, maybe much needed 3 points.
Absolutely. And Jeanette Schrapp's coming up to get 3rd. What a phenomenal closing 400 meters from the Iowa State senior Jeanette Schrapp to finish in that top 3 with Karina Skaita in 4th. Look at the emotion from Doris Lemon-Golay right now.
Yeah, she was in the zone during the race, but now she realizes what her effort has translated into. This was an excellent final water jump. She gave no indication to Markovic that she was about to falter.
Another look from the side, projects well, kind of uses that barrier to push herself to the very edge of the pit. Markovic gets out pretty quickly, but you can see isn't quite as smooth navigating that last one. And then this is where she throws down that last kick. She had been surging over the last 1,000 meters, and that continued right here into the finish. Fighting over the final barrier. The freshman winning her first NCAA championship in record-setting fashion.
And to her credit, the defending champion also running a big lifetime best in 2nd place. But it is the freshman from Alabama, Doris Lemon-Golay, with a victory, the collegiate record, and the meet record. She wins it with 9:15.24. Olivia Markovic the defending champion getting second. Elise Thorner, 3 points for Florida in third. And the winner is downstairs with John.
I do have the Steeple champion here in her first year of college track. Congratulations, Doris. Where is the most difficult part of that race as you went head-to-head with Olivia?
I think my most difficult part in steeplechase is jumping over the water part. It's tough to just pick up from there and continue with the race.
How did the race play out, maybe as you expected it beforehand, and then how it actually developed over the course of those 3,000 meters?
My plan was to just pick up after they start the race, but then I decided to go over with them, and when they pick up, I started picking up, and that's good. And that made me feel like try to push it after the Olivia, my best friend.
Your good friend. Well, congratulations, and it was a great last water jump that propelled you to victory. You are the national champ. Congratulations, Doris.
Thank you so much, and roll tide.
Roll tide, Dwight.
That is great. Well, that's the first time an Alabama women's steeplechaser has won this title at the NCAA championships. Just a freshman, and a collegiate record and a national title. The 100-meter hurdles is next. And here are the women's team standings after 9 events. Florida, with help from Elise Thorner's finish in the steeplechase, now with an 11-point lead over Oregon, with Nebraska tied for second, and Alabama moves up thanks to Doris Lemon-Golay as we get ready now for the 100-meter hurdles final. Masai Russell setting that collegiate record last year at the Texas Relays. Brianna Rollins, the Olympic champion, way back in 2013, setting the meet record, and Maribel Saicedo is in this final. She has the fastest time in the country this year from Washington State.
Well, what an incredible year for this young lady. She only broke 13 flat this season. She carried that momentum into getting the Olympic standard and running 2 of the fastest times in the country at the regional meet. But she can make history here today as a Washington State Cougar. Lady has never won this title.
And if Shiseido's the favorite, Grace Stark is right on her heels, coming back from a broken leg at the 2022 SED Outdoor Championships. But she has a unique snap explosion hurdle technique and runs kind of like Grant Holloway, blows the competition away right from the first hurdle.
Yeah, Grace Stark runs so quick in between. Different style for Jasmine Jones here. She was a runner-up in 2022, but she took down the NCAA indoor title and a Pac-12 title as well. We'll see her again later in the 400 meters. She's trying a very rare double. High hurdles, or 100-meter hurdles, and a 400-meter double.
2 Cougars, 2 Trojans in this final. Washington State, one of only 2 teams remaining in the former Pac-12 starting next year.
I want to make mention as well with Michaela DeMello of Washington State in this race. It's the first time 2 women Cougars have been in a final at the NCAA championships.
Stark in 5, Saicedo in 6, Jones in 7. A lot of points running on Grace Stark's finish here. But it's Jones out quickest. Now here comes Stark. It's Jones and Stark. Then here comes Saicedo making a late run. But it's Grace Stark over 8. Grace Stark's going to win at 10 points for Florida. Very close between Saicedo and Rainea Jones of Central Florida out in lane 8. Very close. 12:47 with a negative 0.5 meters of wind. But it was Stark clear and 10 points for Florida. Saicedo at 12:56 in second, and it was Rainea Jones of UCF in third.
And here's the thing, Grace Stark has never won this title, and she didn't get the best start that she normally does get. But hurdles is all about rhythm and timing. You got to get back down to sprinting as fast as you possibly can, and you see that explosion from her through the entirety of this race. Watch her attack. It doesn't matter, hey, the pack is with me. I'm going to stay focused on my lane. Amazing Grace. We might once have been blind to how great she is, but now we can all see that she's a national champion.
Big 10 points for the Gators, but Grace told me a couple of days ago, she said the key for her was getting back in a sprint position over the last 3 segments of this race, and she just did it better than anybody else. This was a murderer's row to get into the final. They had to run Olympic qualifying standards just to get in here. We knew it was going to be fast.
There's a third place reaction from Renia Jones of Central Florida. That's the number 6 time run this year in the world. 12:47 into a slight negative win, but more importantly for Mike Holloway, 10 points for Florida, and Grace is downstairs with John.
Yeah, we all need a little grace in our life, don't we, Dwight? 12:47, that's a smoke show. Again, it's a really good field.
Thank you.
You've been in so many finals. What's it like to be the NCAA champion?
It feels great. I mean, I've never, I don't think, placed more than third or higher than third or anything like that at the NCAA Outdoor Championship. And this is my last season. It felt like a missing piece. So I was really happy to get in my last race.
What was the key in the race that got you through ahead of the rest of them today?
The start and keeping my arms close and tight in between the hurdles. Coach Holloway and I talked a lot about the first 3 steps and keeping my head down and keeping my arms tight and holding composure.
I saw the film the other day where you raced against Grant Holloway.
Yes.
And you destroyed him.
Yeah, it's great running against Grant. I mean, it's like the best training partner in the world. You have basically the men's indoor and outdoor world record holder chasing behind you. So it's scary, but it gives you a lot of confidence when you can catch him.
Grant would like me to point out, though, that he was running the 110s and the highs, and you were at 100. But still, I was really impressed by that. Congratulations, and we might see you with that performance. Might see you at the end of the day with the team championship, which would be awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Very good. Dwight, upstairs.
All right, John. The last time a Florida Gator won this title, it was 32 years ago. Michelle Freeman of the Gators winning it. But Grace Stark is an NCAA champion and a big contributor to the team's overall title hopes. All right, let's catch up on some high jump. When we left, Rachel Glenn, one of the favorites, had 2 misses, and they were identical attempts, and they did not look very good. She has jumped 6'6" 3/4 this year. She is one of only 2 high jumpers in the U.S. that are qualified for the Olympics. And on a 3rd attempt, she clears it, albeit not great adjustment, but she got her height a little bit late, but tells me she needs to move back. This is a fast runway. I know that. So perhaps her coach is telling her. Here is the co-favorite, co-collegiate record holder, Lamara Diston, finally in her senior year at A&M. The Jamaican record holder clears easily on her first attempt at 6'1½". She has been solid all 4 years at Texas A&M. Expect to see her in Paris competing for the Jamaican national team. The bar still at 6'1½". We go to Texas Tech's freshman Temitope Adesina, the Big 12 indoor and outdoor champ. Nigerian record holder. She's over on her first attempt at 6'1½". Then we go back to Rachel Glenn. 2 misses at 6'1½". She's working out. 3rd attempt, and she is out. And we were concerned about how close to the hurdles that she would still be high jumping. Now it's no problem. She's got plenty of time to get ready for the 400 hurdles, and no points scored for Arkansas. That is a big loss of potential points for the Razorbacks in the team title. Then Charity Huffnagel, who is the defending champion but has turned into a heptathlete. She is also struggling. Her legs do not look like they have much life. She still has to run the 800-meter portion of the heptathlon, and she is out on her 3rd attempt at 6'1½". So one of the favorites and the defending champion out of the high jump competition. So with 10 more points from Grace Stark, look at the lead that Florida is out to now. 21 points over Oregon and Nebraska, with Alabama trying to make a move along with Ole Miss. And speaking of Ole Miss, the next event on the track, the 100-meter final. There are the records. Sha'Carri Richardson setting that record back in 2019. And then Jacia Sears, who is not here because of an injury at the regionals. And here is Mackenzie Long. We saw her run a great second leg for her Ole Miss Rebels that won the 4x100-meter relay. Now it's her individual opportunity to contribute to the team, but she has had a rough go of it in 2024 due to the unexpected loss of her mother earlier.
A lot of self-journey, a lot of self-isolation, focusing on myself, keying on myself and what works for me and what doesn't work for me, especially that I don't have my mom in this moment and this journey of like transitioning and like, you know, I'm going pro after this. So I want to say just like zoning in on that and believing that my mom is here, you know, just having her here, feeling her, talking to her before every race. That's what I do now. I go to the bleachers, I sit in the bleachers by myself, and I just talk to her. I talk to her and I talk to God, and I just trust that she's here with me. And she sees everything that's going to happen before it even unfolds. So that's really what I key into.
Well, she has really come to the forefront this season. We kind of looked at her as a 200-meter specialist, and until probably, I'm going to say, the last 5 weeks of this season. And she has run some amazing 100-meter times and put herself out there as the favorite in the 100 meters. Gone under 11 flat a number of times here. And we see Jaden Mays, the 6-time Pac-12 champion. She's been to these championships here. The outdoor championships is her fourth trip to the outdoor championships, but her first time in the finals.
Yes, and of course, you also have Brianna Liston from LSU. She knows what it feels like to run 10:91, as that's her personal best. We've got 4 women in this field who have a PR of sub-10. If you could use a few words to describe each of them, Brianna Liston has sweet feet, Jaden Mays is strong, and Mackenzie Long is a tatted-up rebel who has a mission.
Mackenzie Long getting her lifetime best in the semifinals on Thursday. The wind is minimal, shouldn't be over the allowable at their backs.
Kayla Jackson from Georgia, always a factor in these finals as well. Coach Carroll said she is ready to go, my little warrior.
And also Rosemary Chukwuma from Texas Tech in lane 2. Didn't look great in the semis, but she's always a threat with a PB of 10:88.
Mays in 4, Long in 5, Liston in 6. Good start for Mays. Mackenzie Long was left a little bit, but that's not unusual. Now she's coming. She's gathering. It is going to be Mackenzie Long in the middle of the track in the blue of the Rebels. Yes, she wins it. Followed by Rosemary Chukwuma of Texas Tech. She snuck in for second place. 10:82, but just slightly too much wind. 2.2 meters per second. You couldn't tell that from the flags before the race, but just slightly over the allowable. But 10:82 for Mackenzie Long, and just as importantly, 10 points for the Rebs.
Well, we talk about winning the 4x1, the 100 meters and the 200 meters, and that would be such an incredible sweep. Step 2 for Mackenzie Long, but she is just running on a mission right now. Here you see the start. Jaden Mays had a good start. Brianna Liston always gets a good start. Brianna Liston led this race for almost 16 meters, and it wasn't until the final stages that Mackenzie Long was able to take over. Good start for Kayla Jackson on the outside as well. But then with about 30 meters to go, it's all turnover. Mackenzie Long just has such fast turnover right now. Here are the coaches over on the practice track, and nobody can match her top speed over the last 50 meters of these races.
It was Brianna Liston of LSU that nipped Rosemary Chukwuma for second. That's the number 5 time all conditions this year. So sprinting is hot around the world. But Mackenzie Long, normally a 200 meter specialist, drops down to the 100, runs a personal best legal on Thursday, runs a slightly windy, more personal best, 10:82. Liston is second, Chukwuma third. Jaden Mays of Oregon ends up 4th. Let's take you back to Thursday with some field event highlights that we want to take a look at again. This is Chloe Timberg of Rutgers, the junior. She blew the field away, setting a meet record of 15.5.5 to win the national title. And you can tell there's a little bit more even there. So the Rutgers junior winning it with a meet record 15.5.5. Then over to the javelin runway, and Nebraska senior Rema Odobor, 5th round. She just lets it fly, and it just doesn't stop flying until way past the line. The official had to chase it. 210 feet 7 inches, a collegiate record, and for her, a Bahamian national record. And certainly an Olympic qualifier, she's likely to be seen in Paris. Then the women's shot, the hometown crowd loved it. Jada Ross, the junior, could have won the competition on any of her 6 throws. That's how dominant she was in this shot put competition. Saved the best for last. 64-10.5 in round number 6 when she didn't even need to. So some outstanding jumping, vaulting, and throwing by the women on Thursday. So let's take a look at the points that are and the points that are available. It is not over by any stretch of the imagination. I'll tell you, Arkansas's hopes really got hurt by Rachel Glenn struggling in the high jump. She's really got to redeem herself in that 400 hurdles where she's already expected to win. All right, now time for the 400, the much anticipated 400 meters with 4 of the 9 entries from Arkansas. There are the records, both the collegiate and meet, and the best time in the country this year. There is Amber Anning, probably the de facto captain of the quarter milers from Great Britain. She will make that British team, and she told us why she thinks this quartet of quarter milers in Fayetteville is so dominant.
I think the success for the relay is just our hard work and effort. It's an everyday thing, just taking care of the little stuff. I think Coach Johnson's done a really good job of just bringing us together and really just working on the small things. But we train hard. I mean, Arkansas, it's not for the weak. Not everyone could probably manage our training, but I think we just push each other every day. It's amazing that all 4 of us are up there, and I get to run and compete against them on a regular basis. So we just want it for each other, and it's just a great culture.
Well, there you see Kaylin Brown. She was a national leader for quite some time this outdoor season. She ran under 50 seconds for the first time at the Tom Jones Invitational. But interestingly enough, as a freshman here in high school, she spent time on a track club that Bershawn Jackson ran, U Express. And certainly we know Bershawn Jackson is an Olympic medalist in the 400-meter hurdles, and he's got a very successful track club. And there's somebody who took over that world-leading time, Nikisha Price.
Exactly. Nikisha Price is the new collegiate leader. She does a really nice job around the last 40 meters of the race, going to her arms and doing a nice job of finishing through. And then there's Rosie Effiong. You see it there on your screen. 3-time NCAA 4x100, 4x400 meter relay champion. She is the one to watch that could potentially help them get that 4 sweep. The first time in history we've seen a team go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 400.
Well, you can see there the 1, 2, 3 sweeps that have taken place. But as Dan mentioned in the opening, we've seen sweeps, but a 1 through 4 would be a super sweep. And boy, does Arkansas need the points now. With Rachel Glenn not scoring in the high jump, if they go 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be 29 points for the Razorbacks, which will vault them right into the lead.
Well, look for Kaylin Brown to get out quick. Nikisha Price is very steady, but she closes really hard. Rosie Effiong has really done a great job with her speed work this year. She'll get out quick as well, and she said she was ready to go under 50 flat.
And the Razorbacks are all in a line, lanes 5 through 8. Anning in 5, Brown in 6. The freshman, Nikisha Price in 7, Rosie Effiong in 8.
And there goes Rosie right away. She got out early and established herself as a leader in the first 60 meters, but here comes the rest of the squad.
Not much separation there. They're pretty much running in a line. Into the far turn. And 2 of the Razorbacks have already made up the stagger on Isabella Whitaker of Penn out in lane 9. Right now it's looking like a super sweep. Now it's just an Arkansas intramural race. Amber Anning doesn't seem to have an answer coming up the home straight. It's Nikisha Price. It's a super sweep. Price, Brown, Anning, Effiong. And it is a new collegiate record for Nikisha Price, 48.89. What an amazing run by these Arkansas Razorbacks. Let me tell you, each one of them knew what happened with Rachel Glenn in that high jump, and they said, now it's on. We absolutely have to do this, because 2 of them are graduating seniors. They don't want to go out without giving it everything they have.
Well, and this is going to be absolutely amazing. We'll see them again in the 4x400 meters. But Nikisha Price, the hard charger, the up-and-coming Jamaican star, she just put on a show this last 120. Kaylin Brown, you could see she was going for it. Amber Anning didn't look like she had an answer, but Rosie Effiong, she dips under 50 seconds for the very first time. But no catching the senior from Arkansas. It belongs to her, but look at this quartet. The super sweep happened, but just amazing times here. I looked at the flags. There was no wind really out there, and that gave them an advantage, and they all went for it.
And guys, this was not a matter of who was going to win. It was a matter of which Arkansas Razorback was going to be the hungriest. And Nikisha Price, arms down the stretch. Everyone at home watching this, remember that. Go to your arms when your legs aren't there.
Price, one of the two seniors, a Jamaican who certainly with that time has got an inside track to be at the Olympics for Jamaica. It's a new Jamaican national record, but as importantly, 29 points, the top 2 times ever run in the 400 at the collegiate level. An amazing performance, and we will see them again in the 4x4 relay. Let's take a look at what that did to the points. Arkansas now with 44 and into the lead by 1 over Florida. And we will probably see that exact same quartet in the final event of the day, the 4x400 relay. But the 400 hurdles are next. All right, let's get you back to the high jump. There's been some changes. For the first time, we get to see the Georgia junior Elena Kulichenko. First attempt at 191, 6'3 1/4. She won the SEC Outdoor Championships last month, 3rd at the NCAA Indoor, and on her first attempt, she is over, and that puts her into the lead. Remember, Rachel Glenn, one of the favorites, the collegiate record holder, out of the competition, getting ready for the next event on the track. They're still setting up the hurdles, and she will go there. Here's Lamara Diston. She is the co-collegiate record holder with Rachel Glenn, the Jamaican national record holder, several-time NCAA indoor and outdoor champion, and she is over the same height on her second attempt. That is why she is currently in second place. But they are not alone. With the bar at the same height, Temitope Adesina, she is still in the mix. 3rd attempt, 6'3 1/4 for the junior from Lubbock. And a nice clearance there, showing a lot of upside potential when they go up to the next height. Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings as teams compete for a combined $500,000 in student-athlete scholarships from Capital One. There are the scores now with just track and field and baseball, softball remaining in the 2023-2024 season. It's coming down to the wire for this school season. Speaking of standings, look at that 1-point lead by Arkansas over Florida. Florida then 16 ahead of Oregon. So it's looking like the Razorbacks and the Gators fighting it out for the team title. But plenty of events still left to run, and field events as well as we get ready for the women's 800 meters final. There are the collegiate record and meet record. There is the lady of the hour, Michaela Rose, the second fastest ever run. Only a thing Mo has run faster at the college level than Michaela Rose. But she's got some company. There are other champions in this very same race with her.
Always going to be there. Whenever you make it to nationals, you have a shot at winning it. But more so this year because we have 3 NCAA champions coming into the 800 event. That just makes it exciting because, you know, we want to win again. And then you got some girls who just wants to win it, who wants to just be in the final. And, you know, just being part of that, it's exciting. And it's going to be historic, I'm telling you.
Historic indeed. We will be on meet record watch. Michaela Rose, the fastest qualifier ever, having run 1:59.90 in a semifinal 2 nights ago. All 3 of these champions have been sub 2 minutes in their careers, including the indoor champion, Juliet Whitaker of Stanford. Michaela Rose finished second to Whitaker at the indoor championships in Boston earlier this year. Roisin Willis has an NCAA indoor title to her credit from 2023.
They call him off the line. A lot of noise down there by the start line.
Sanu Jallow of Arkansas also has gone sub 2 minutes this season. That was at the SEC Outdoor Championships when she was second to Michaela Rose.
Jallow starting in lane 3. Obviously important that she scores some points here for Arkansas to pad their total as much as possible. They still have Rachel Glenn coming up at the 400 hurdles next after the 800. They're through the first turn. They will break for the pole, and we normally see Michaela Rose go up to the front as soon as she can, but she's laying back this time. We can feel some wind up here in our position, so uncertain about what it's doing down there on the field.
And she took note of that NCAA indoor title in which she led until the final 100 meters. And her coaches say that really re-aggravated the appetite for her to defend this title going into the outdoor season. A phenomenal competitor. That is Sophia Gorriaran of Harvard up front alongside Sanu Jallo of Arkansas as they are approaching the bell lap, and they are 4 wide.
Jallo leading the pack. Here comes Michaela Rose into second. 58 seconds first lap. That's certainly comfortable for everyone in the field. Now Michaela Rose up on the shoulder of Jallo. They're, of course, very familiar with each other, both from the Southeastern Conference. But Jallo just not giving up the spot, making Rose work for it. Gorriaran going back in there and past Jallo to try and cover the move. Pardon me, that is Juliet Whitaker into second place. And Jallo now getting on the program. Everybody in it with 200 meters to go.
Michaela Rose has the best 400-meter speed of the field. And that bright orange of Oklahoma State, that is Gabija Galvadita, last year's outdoor runner-up, fighting her way into contention.
The Lithuanian definitely making herself known here with the final straightaway ahead. Michaela Rose has not separated herself from Juliet Whitaker. Whitaker switches gears. It's going to be Juliet Whitaker of Stanford and then Gabija Galvadita of Oklahoma State. And on the very outside into second place suddenly. Whitaker wins at 1:59.61, just off her lifetime best. Roisin Willis of Stanford at 2:17 gets the second spot. She's a former NCAA champion. Galvadita ends up third. Rose just wilting over the final 100 meters.
Juliet Whitaker turns on that kick. This is like what we saw at the indoor championships. She throws down, makes that move aggressively, but there is no strain in that stride. Using every inch, and she carries Roisin Willis. Whitaker with a commanding charge. Rose sliding back as Galvadita and Willis fight for second and third. A 1-2 Cardinal finish.
So 18 points for the Cardinals. They are not in team title contention, but you're never going to turn your nose up at a 1-2 sweep.
The first Stanford winner in the women's 800 meters outdoors in history.
That's hard to believe considering the middle distance runners they have had, but it happened, and the champion now indoors and outdoors. Downstairs with John.
Yes, indoor and out. You again. We got to quit meeting like this. Actually, no, we don't. Take me through the race, because usually we see Rose out front. She wasn't there. Just a little different than maybe what we expected.
Yeah, definitely different than what I was expecting. Was expecting her to kind of take it out similar to indoor. And yeah, I was just trying to hang on for as long as I could, and then again kind of use my kick in the last 100. So it ended up being a different person to take it out, but still kind of same tactics.
At what point did you realize that you were going to be the 800-meter outdoor champion?
I feel like coming around the corner I felt good, but I also was like, everyone might feel good right now. But I feel like 50 meters to go, I felt myself kind of pulling away. Not really sure where everyone else was. I was so happy to turn and see that Roisin got second. That was just amazing. But yeah, I felt pretty good coming home that last 50.
All right, you're not done yet. What's next?
I have trials in 2 weeks back here, so.
That's going to take 150-something there, too. You ready for that?
Yes, it's going to be fast, but I'm excited.
More Sharks back here at Hayward in 2 weeks, Dwight.
All right, John. 1-2 finish. First time back-to-back, or indoors and outdoors, since Raven Rogers in 2017 right here for Oregon. Let's talk a little bit about former Texas Tech heptathlete Tiara Williams. She's been using her multi-talents to catch up with multiple athletes behind the scenes. You can check out her interviews with Amber Anning, Christopher Morales Williams, Parker Valby, and many more over on Instagram at Real Talk with T. That's T-E-E and ESPNW. Well, the much anticipated 400 hurdles are next. Rachel Glenn out of the high jump without scoring. She is the favorite in these hurdles. Can she pull it off? We'll see when we come back. The hurdles are out on the track. But let's go over to the triple jump for a little update with Dan.
All right, let's get you caught up on a couple of field events here. This is Amelia Strostrand, the junior from San Jose State. On her first attempt, the Spartan would put out a good jump, 45.6 and a quarter from Sweden. She got a chance to go home to Stockholm and compete in the Diamond League there on June 2nd. Now she's back trying to get a medal here at the NCAA Championships. This is your winner in the women's long jump. Now over on to the triple jump. Akeelia Smith, the junior from Texas. On her first attempt, she would send one way out there. 46.4 and a quarter. That would be the best triple jump of the year in the collegiate ranks. So she is trying to win not only the long jump, but the triple jump. All right, as we move over to the discus, in progress. This is Shelby Franks, the junior from Minnesota, the Big Hammer champ, Big Ten Hammer champ. And she was 7th here in the hammer, trying to get some work done in the discus. On her second attempt, she would go 202 feet and score a personal best. But then Jaden Ulrich from Louisville, the junior, she would step into the ring on her second attempt, a 3-time ACC champ. Get some work done here at the NCAA Championships. She would go 206 feet 10 inches and take the lead there in the 4th round in both the triple jump and the discus. The women started their second day here in the heptathlon. There you see the leader after the first day, Texas A&M Aggie Tamara Chapman, 39.74, just a slight lead over the NCAA 2-time indoor pentathlon champ, Jaden O'Brien. But your leaders would get things going here on the second day. O'Brien, just a junior. On her second attempt, she would send one out there for a personal best, an all-time personal best. Her third of this competition, 20 feet 7 and 3/4. And your leader, not to be outdone in the second round, she says, you know what, if Jaden can get a PR this early in the morning, so can I. On her second attempt, she would send one out there. Great reach into the sand. Nice finish. Beautiful day here for the multi-events. The men got nice weather. The women got great weather as well. But Tamara Chapman, on her second round jump, she goes 20 feet 9 for a personal best. And she is well ahead of her all-time personal score of 6,200 points. She would love to get the Olympic qualifying standard of 64. This is Janelle Rogers from Ball State, the senior. She's featured prominently in the last 3 national championships, both indoors and outdoors. And on her third attempt, she'd go 20 feet 5 and also jump a personal best. So 108 points separate O'Brien and Chapman, and only 4 points behind is Janelle Rogers.
So here is the update on the events. Arkansas with a 4-point lead over Florida. Those are the two that are really breaking away from the rest of the teams as we get ready now for the women's 400-meter hurdles. Sydney McLaughlin, the world record holder, Olympic champion, has the collegiate record. And Rachel Glenn, who is in this final, she has the best time in the country this year. She will be starting out in lane number 6 with some redemption on her mind because she did not score points in her high jump event.
Exactly. This is the hardest race in all of track and field. Combining the 400 and the hurdle, she's going to look forward to making up for that high jump performance earlier.
And Jasmine Jones would love to follow in the footsteps of her coach, Joanna Hayes, who won an NCAA title on this track some years ago.
And then right here, you got the reigning champion, Savannah Sutherland. She just knows how to run championship races, guys. Last year, we didn't talk about her before the race, but she made sure we didn't forget about her performance. She, in my opinion, although Rachel Glenn is the collegiate leader, Savannah Sutherland is the favorite. And if I'm Rachel Glenn, I need to catch Sutherland, who is in lane 7 right outside of me, by the third hurdle, build a lead, and be able to hold on to it because Sutherland is a very strong finisher.
Jasmine Jones in lane 5, already finishing 4th in the 100 hurdles earlier. As we mentioned, Rachel Glenn really struggling in the high jump today. Legs just didn't work. And you've got to have legs in this 400 hurdle. So let's see what she has. Jones in 5, Glenn in 6, Sutherland in 7, the defending champion.
And as you already see, Rachel Glenn took that first hurdle first. She's closing in on that stagger on Savannah Sutherland outside of her just like she needs to. She needs to continue to press down this back stretch.
Glenn this is a new event for her this year. She's an outstanding high jumper. She's one of only 2 Americans that has the Olympic qualifying standard in the high jump. And taking on the toughest event in track and field, you got to hand it to her.
And right now, the reigning champion is in the lead, meaning that Rachel Glenn's hurdle technique is going to come into question here on the last 3 hurdles.
Savannah Sutherland leading. Here comes Jasmine Jones into the picture. She takes the 9th hurdle ahead of Rachel Glenn. Glenn tries to respond, but Jones has a head of steam. She's going to win this thing. 4th in the 100 hurdles, and now NCAA champion in the 400 hurdles. Rachel Glenn ends up 3rd. That's a new meet record for Jasmine Jones. She bests the record of Corey Carter from back in 2013.
And once again, guys, just like last year, we spent a ton of time talking about Rachel Glenn. We spent a ton of time talking about Savannah Sutherland. Our man Dan O'Brien, talk to us about what you saw from Jasmine Jones.
All right, Jasmine Jones really took her time. She was so patient over the first 250 meters. But look, she's clearly in 3rd place there with 100 meters to go. Rachel Glenn is beginning to fade. So it looks like Savannah Sutherland is taking control. But it's superior hurdling. It's that 100-meter hurdle form that Jasmine Jones was able to put in place over the last 2 hurdles to just put her into better running position. She runs off this last hurdle, and that's what gives her the strength and the momentum to take the title.
And Dan, over hurdle 9, you could kind of see a look on her face. They say, hey, don't worry about the other lanes. But she could see Savannah Sutherland and also Rachel Glenn dying a little bit and got an extra burst of energy to get to that finish line in 1st place.
That 53.15, not only a meet record, but the number 3 time in the world so far this year. Savannah Sutherland, the defending champion, ends up 2nd with a personal best. And Rachel Glenn got 3rd just off her own personal best. She did not stink the place up and ends up with 6 points for the Razorbacks. But it's all Jasmine Jones, and she is with John.
Well, she was, and then down she goes because everybody, apparently after this race, they're all just deathly tired, and they have to take a moment. Jasmine Jones, 400-meter champ. You're back. First off, what do we do after 4th in the 100 to get ready to make sure we're prepared and in the right mind for this event?
The 100 hurdle is definitely a little disappointing. Still got a PR out of it, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. Okay, had to move on. Just that's over and done with, so accept what happened and ready for what's next.
So you get into the kind of the middle of that back turn, the 2nd turn, and you are not ahead. You come off the turn, you've got people in front of you. What's going through our mind to make sure that we get here first?
Yeah, stressing my training, thinking about all the times I was on this similar situation in practice, very tired, but pushed through and I was able to prime that in my legs and bring it back.
I'll never know, but I would like to know what you think about just being like, I am a national champion.
It feels great, honestly. So much hard work, so many nerves, so much fear, honestly, for this race. Really had to overcome a lot mentally for this one, so I'm really proud of myself.
There you go, fight on, give him the thing. There you go.
Thanks.
Dwight?
All right, John. Well, Jasmine Jones scoring in both the 100 and 400 hurdles as we get ready for the next event on the track, the 200 meters. Mackenzie Long already helping her team to a victory in the 4x1. She wins the 100 in a wind-aided personal best, and now the 200, her signature event. She's next.
Well, when the ladies throw the heptathlon javelin, you know the end is near. This is Tamara Chapman, your leader from Texas A&M, the senior. Short approach, but a pretty good javelin throw on her first attempt. She would put one out there, 139 feet 6 inches for 716 points. She would retain her lead. And here is Jaden O'Brien, the junior from Notre Dame, her 2nd attempt. Nice stop on that left side. And she'd go 138 feet 2 inches. She would remain in 2nd position, only 116 points now behind Tamara Chapman. But the senior from Texas, Christine Blazabicha, she would make a move here in the javelin and put herself within striking distance of the leaders. On her 3rd attempt, she would go a personal best, 143 feet 9 inches for 741 points, and she would take over 3rd position, and she'd be only 240 points behind Tamara Chapman, the leader.
All right, so here are the team standings with Arkansas out to a 10-point lead now over Florida. Florida's been at 43 for a while now. No scoring opportunities of late. Oregon well back there, but they still have plenty of people left to score as we get ready for the 200-meter final. Abby Steiner setting that collegiate record and meet record right here in 2022. Mackenzie Long, of course, with the best time in the world this year and amongst the college rank, 21:95. She ran that in the prelims on Thursday. There she is. She will be in lane number 6. She's already won the 100 and helped her team win the 4x100 relay.
And Dan and Dwight, because of the way that this day has played out, this is actually the race of the day. This woman wears a lot of hats, but there's no cap to what she can do. The Triple Crown is there for her to take it. All she has to do is continue to do what she did in the prelims, or should I say the semifinals. Keep her legs underneath her, run her race. There's no one else in this field that can run with her.
Well, and her competition is going to come from the Pac-12 champ in lane 5, Jaden Mays. And with Oregon really doing well in the field events, they've got opportunities to score. Jaden Mays could be, her points here could be really important, but also let's keep an eye on lane 7, Jamisha Ford, the SEC runner-up in this event and the NCAA indoor champ in the 200 meters. What a season she's been having as a freshman, and just maybe a little get a little bit overshadowed by how fast everybody's running in the 400s and the 100. But don't forget, you know, she's just a freshman and she's got the indoor title.
Mays was 4th in the 100 earlier. Mays in 5, Long in 6, Ford in 7. Long really runs a good turn. Let's see how it looks here. They're all even through that turn. Jaden Mays running great in lane 5. Comes off the turn, but there goes Mackenzie Long. She just downshifted into the gear and separated. Mackenzie Long is going to win the Triple Crown. Second is going to go to Jamisha Ford. Jaden Mays, 3rd for the Ducks. 21:83, and the wind is okay. Just missing the collegiate record by 0.03 of a second. She solidifies that number 2 spot that she has. Abby Steiner still has that record, and they may be on the Olympic team together in about 3 weeks.
Oh, Dwight, she just brought the house down like Samson with that, and you see the emotion on her face. She talked to T, that we talked about earlier in an interview, and she said this was the meet she wanted her mom to be at. I can tell you right now, she won the 100, she won the 200 and the 4x100, and now her mom is up in heaven wearing that crown that she got her.
That's the number 10 time in American history. And let's talk about some of the people that are ever. Florence Griffith-Joyner, Valerie Briscoe-Hooks, Gabby Thomas. Those are some pretty great runners that have run faster, but she is just getting better as the year goes on. A year that has been full of emotion, but also full of motivation.
Well, let's take a look at this replay. Jamisha Ford just on the outside of her gets a tremendous start, and I'm sure that Mackenzie Long felt the pressure on the inside from Jaden Mays. But look at Mackenzie Long now with 80 meters to go. She just changes gears. She's just got more in the tank left. And this is absolutely amazing that just, you know, so much pressure on her, but she was focused. You can see she was focused after the 100-meter as you see her father come out to greet her. And I know right now they're both thinking about her mother, Tara Jones, who passed away earlier this year, and she said, every race I run is for my mom.
And Dan, we talked about this in the 100. You saw the look on her eyes. She was on a mission, and now she can say that she completed it with the Triple Crown.
And finally, after having to wave us off a couple times because she had things to do, the new 200-meter champ is downstairs with John.
Yeah, thank you, Dwight. Finally, all the business is out of the way today. Let's talk strictly track and field. What it meant originally, the 4x1 to come through. It's the first time your school has won, and you were a critical leg there. And what was it like to win that championship?
It was great. It definitely set up the whole day for me. So I'm truly thankful for that. And I'm thankful to have them to support me and my individuals as well.
100, halfway through, you had a lot of work to do. How'd you get that done?
Just remain calm and just what I'm really good at, which is my turnover. And yeah, I didn't want to tighten up, so I just remain calm.
And this last one, too, you seem like you had them covered right from the start, more of your event. Your thoughts on that one?
Again, just remain calm. I had a long day today, so I just want to trust myself and my capabilities all day.
And then finally, we don't have to remain calm. Your dad comes out. We know the long year you've had. How do you keep yourself compartmentalized to accomplish what you did?
I talk to my mom every day. Everything that I do is for her. And on that block, and those blocks right there, so I said, Mom, this is my last race. Just push me through. And she did. So, yeah.
Yeah, you said sometimes you go in the stand, you sit and you talk. Like, what do you say to your mom?
I tell her, Mom, I know you're here with me. And I trust that you're able to, like, be there for me and push me through all these hard times that I go through. This year was so hard for me, guys. Like, it was so hard for me. So I'm just blessed. I'm so blessed to be here.
Well, it was a remarkable year to watch. You're a remarkable young lady to get through all this. I'm glad Dad was here, though, for that hug, too.
Me too.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
3-time champ. Dwight?
Well, we didn't have to wait long for that to happen. Julian Alfred did the exact same thing last year for Texas. But Mackenzie Long, what a year she has had. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Athletically, she took that energy and that emotion and turned it into amazing performances here in Eugene. Heptathlon 800 next. So they have finally started doing wheelchair races at the NCAA level. A cooperative with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and the NCAA. There was a men's race yesterday, a women's race today. And the winner of the men's race from Illinois, Evan Carell. They have quite the program there at the University of Illinois, as you can see, as they went 1, 2, 3, the sweep in the wheelchair 100. And then earlier today, it was the women's turn to do the same thing. And once again, an athlete from the Fighting Illini program uses a great start and is never headed. Hannah Dietrich of Illinois takes the victory in the first NCAA championship wheelchair 100. Illinois 1-2, and Chelsea Stain from Arizona, who had 3 entries as well in the competition. Let's move over to the high jump. It really got hot. The bar at 6'5.5", which is the Olympic qualifying standard. This is Elena Ludachenko of Georgia and Cyprus, and she just got an Olympic qualifier, and she can go to Paris. A lifetime best for Kulichenko, but the event was not over by any stretch of the imagination. Temitope Adesina of Texas Tech, the freshman, she follows with a personal best and an Olympic qualifier. Perfect conditions for this, and not many opportunities left to get that qualifier. Rose Yeboah of Ghana and the junior at Illinois, her 3rd attempt, and she's over the Olympic qualifying standard and eligible to compete for her country in Paris. But this thing is not over by any stretch. They still got to jump off to find out who wins.
All right, let's go over to the triple jump. This is Akeelia Smith in the 4th round. She got a leading jump in the 1st round, but here she is in the 4th, and she would stretch her lead out even farther. She won the long jump last night or 2 nights ago. She's taking control of this triple jump from the 1st attempt, but here in the 4th round, she goes 47 7 3/4, and she would win the triple jump. Double winner for her, the junior from Texas. And then the discus, let's wrap this up. This is Veronica Fraley, the senior from Vanderbilt, on her 4th round. She would send one way out there past the final line. She was your SEC outdoor champ. And she was second last year, but Veronica Fraley goes 208 feet 10 for a personal best to win the discus.
All right, let's take a look at the standings before this second section of the 800 meters. These are the seeded athletes, the top 12. Here is Tamara Chapman of Texas A&M. She's got about a 116-point lead. It's about a 9-second lead in the 800. She's a decent 800-meter runner, but not as good as the athlete in second place, who has a better 800-meter time. So she can't let this race get away from her. She's got to stay close enough to let that 113-point lead work in her favor.
Well, Jaden O'Brien in second place from Notre Dame. She has run 2:11, and that's about 5 seconds faster than Tamara Chapman has run as a personal best. Christine Blazovica of Texas, there you see her in 5th place. By virtue of that wonderful javelin throw, she moves herself up into 3rd place. She's run 2:13, so outstanding 800-meter times for some of our leaders. And you get a look at Anika Williams in there from Oregon. She's currently in 8th place. She would love, or excuse me, she is in 5th place. She would love to stay there, score some points for the Oregon Ducks, but she's not a great 800-meter runner.
Dan, how would you describe the way that these women's legs feel after competing in so many events and now having to run this daunting 800 meters?
Well, I thought the 1500 meters was difficult, but after coaching young ladies in the 800 meters, it's probably as daunting as the 15. That's Charity Huffnagel out front from Kentucky. We saw her compete in the open high jump earlier, and she's leading a really great group here in the 800 meters, pushing the pace. But this is her last collegiate competition. She has a 2:16 personal best, and she right now sits in 11th position, trying to move up into scoring position.
So Huffnagel going out in 65 seconds, pretty ambitious for a converted high jumper. There goes Tamara Chapman. She is leading now, and she's ahead of O'Brien, who has a better 800-meter time. So unless she falls down, she's got this baby wrapped up, because she's ahead of the person she needed to be within probably 15 or 20 meters of.
Yeah, Tamara Chapman running very inspired here in this 800 meters. Christine Blazovica needed to beat her by quite a bit. Same with Jaden O'Brien. But it's great when you have the lead and you can pass the person who needs to gain points on you. It's very inspiring. But Blazovica is going to come through with a strong finish, 2:14. Jaden O'Brien right behind her. And Tamara Chapman not far behind, but we need to keep a look at the scores. Tamara Chapman would love to score 6,400, get that Olympic qualifying standard, but we will see her back here in a few weeks, or a couple of weeks, for the Olympic trials, where she will try to get on an Olympic team, and she'll come up just short of that 6,400 point, 63.39, but she'll take the NCAA title just 1 year after transferring into Texas A&M.
So no Olympic standard here, but she will have another chance at the Olympic trials in a few weeks. Right back here at Hayward Field. Never know what the conditions are going to be like. You know how blistering hot the last Olympic trials were back in 2021.
I'm tired, I apologize. Thank you.
All right, we will be back when we get all of the scores situated and can officially crown Tamara Chapman as the NCAA champion. But when we return and get that business done, it'll be time for the 5,000-meter final.
Track is back. NCAA Track and Field Championships. Hayward Field hosting for the 17th time, and they'll get the next 3 years, too. I don't know if it's going to be 3 years or longer before we find someone like Parker Valby. If Mackenzie Long has been the star sprinter, Valby obviously is the star distance performer of this meet of this year. This is the other night, on the first night, women's semifinal night. The only final on the track was the 10,000. Parker Valby bided her time and eventually ran away from the field for yet another NCAA championship. She's had a season full of them. It was a meet record. Put that on top of what is a collegiate record that she ran earlier. And Valby, who has all season been fueled by kombucha and curiosity, has put together, without a doubt, what is the finest season by a collegiate distance runner. She won the cross-country national champion, doubled at the indoors in the 3 and the 5, has won the 10, now a chance to win the 5 and become the first woman ever to win 5 national championships in one scholastic season. Guys, good luck calling this one.
All right, John, thank you so much. We saw there the collegiate record, or the outdoor record, I should say, Caitlin Toohey of NC State. Parker Valby has it from indoors. The meet record, Sally Kipiego, 15:15. We'll have to see what the pace is going to be. The other night, Lara, it didn't look like she had a shot at the meet record in the 10,000. Then things picked up and she managed to knock it off.
There's no one more comfortable negative splitting distance races than Parker Valby. In almost every championship race we have seen, almost every record-breaking performance, she has done exactly that, including when she broke the collegiate record at the 10,000, her very first time ever racing the event.
So 24 competitors, 12 came from the West Regional in Fayetteville, Arkansas a couple weeks ago, 12 from the East Regional at Lexington, Kentucky 2 weeks ago. They're all here on the track at one time. We see once again Hilda Olamomoy of Alabama, who is going to be up there with Parker Valby and try to push her or take advantage of any mistake Parker might make, even though it seems unlikely. And just to understand that Parker Valby's got to come back and do this all over again in a couple of weeks, right back here in Eugene, to try to make the U.S. Olympic team in one or both of those events.
Starting to see that surge down the backstretch. Parker Valby getting anxious, and she goes ahead of Shalon Ildiz of Oregon. Hilda Olamomoy goes with her. Here are Valby's parents, who have not been home since the regional meet to qualify Parker to the national championships. They loaded up the RV, watched the meet in Lexington, drove across the country, just had a road trip, visited some national parks, and they're going to stay out here on the West Coast, not only through the NCAA championships, but on to the Olympic trials. It's what they call chasing Parker. They just go all over the country watching her race.
That sounds like a reality show to me. Somebody missed out on an opportunity there. Well, this is early for Parker Valby to get in front. She really took some time and let the pace lag in the 10,000 for the probably first kilometer. But she is not fooling around now. She's out there pushing the pace.
76 seconds, that pace for the most recent 400 meters.
So that strings the field out very quickly. And of course, huge team implications. Her teammate Flomena Asicol, back from the 1500, is also in here trying to pick up some points. Parker Valby, an overwhelming favorite. If she were to continue to push the pace and maybe negative split this race, we might be looking at a collegiate outdoor record or even a collegiate overall record. She is pretty much capable of anything if she's feeling good.
Sped up to 71 seconds. Now that's 15:18 pace at this point. Taking a look right now, if you look at the center of your screen in the all black of the Stanford Cardinal, that is Sophia Kennedy, the freshman. What a day it has been for Stanford. Her dad, Bob Kennedy, two-time Olympian, former American record holder in the 3,000 and the 5,000. Sophia Kennedy really had a breakthrough race at the NCAA qualifier. She was the top qualifier out of her region. She has now appeared in all three NCAA championships this last scholastic year, cross country, indoors, and outdoors. Her dad, Bob, told me just before the meet he is way more nervous watching her than he was when he was competing. And Dwight, I asked him his favorite memory from here at Hayward Field. He said one year he won the mile at the pre-classic that was coming off of injury, and it's so fun for him to be back here now as a proud dad to Sophia Kennedy, who makes the move up the backstretch right now to put herself in fine position, with Parker Valby continuing to lead, followed by Hilda Olamomoy, and then that is Bailey Hertenstein of Colorado, currently in third.
If my memory serves me correctly, I believe Bob Kennedy, former IU standout.
He is indeed.
From your neck of the woods.
He is indeed. Sophia went to Park Tudor High School in Indianapolis and then came out to Stanford to join that program. So you look at the success. They obviously had sweeping, or going 1-2, we should say, in the 800 with Juliet Whitaker and Roisin Willis. And then also they have two in this field. Sophia Kennedy's teammate Amy Bunnage is in here. Worth noting as well, Maya Ramsdid not running the 5,000 after winning the 15. She did run both at the outdoor meet last season, but not in this field. Watch the competition too as we get a nice look at your top six. The positioning of Sydney Thorvaldsen will be critical for Arkansas's team hopes.
Now you can see a little bit of a breakaway here, that front group. Now let's take a look at the points. Arkansas with 53 points. They do have an athlete in this final. Sydney Thorvaldsen of Arkansas is there. Florida, of course, has Parker Valby and Flomena Asicol. Asicol is in the pack, the second pack, and she's got to work hard to get up into that front pack if she's going to score. And the Oregon still in the hunt. They still have people, as you can see, the available points on the right.
Haskell already picked up critical points in the 1500 pace, 71.5 for the last 400, and Valby has that ability to just kind of lock into a pace, attach herself to it, and do exactly that, just knock off lap after lap in that metronome type fashion. And I asked distance coach Will Palmer how she treated the day in between, because that's a lot of mileage for the 10,000 on Thursday, 5,000 on Saturday. Cross-trained yesterday, they got on the ARC trainer. That is what they have supplemented a lot of her running mileage with, is just really hammering the ARC trainer to get her to this point. This is the first complete year that we have seen Parker Valby completely healthy and able to appear in all the national championships going back to last outdoor season.
All right, we're going to step aside for a moment and get you caught up on what happened in the women's high jump. We left it with 3 women over the Olympic qualifying standard. The top 2 decided not to jump off, a la Barshim and Tamberry in Tokyo for the men's high jump. They shared the gold medal because getting that Olympic qualifying standard so important. One for Nigeria, one for Cyprus, and one for Ghana as we go back to the triple jump. And Dan.
All right, I made a mistake after that last jump by Akelia Smith. I said this competition was over, but they still had one more round to go. And Akelia Smith, the junior from Texas, in the 6th and final round, would thrill the crowd with a big jump. 47 feet, 7 inches. She was second at these championships last year. Amazing story, though. She came back from a torn hamstring indoors to win this title. All of her jumps in this competition were good enough to win. But there you see, just leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the field. Sapova and Sodron in 2nd and 3rd place.
Well, you can see here Parker Valby just pushing the pace, and Helen Olamomoy of Alabama, the only one that can really stick with her at this point.
This is much like what we saw in the 10,000, the battle between those two. And Texas Tech's Juliet Cherobet has pushed her way up and into the mix. They were at 6:02 through 2,000 meters. They are now at 15:04 pace. So not only would that demolish the meet record, they're starting to creep up on that outdoor record of Caitlin Tui of 15:03. One thing worth noting as well, Parker Valby ran 14:52.79 indoors. That is narrowly missing the Olympic standard, so she does not have that Olympic standard at 5,000 meters. Pretty ambitious given the setting that we're in, but just as we're watching all of the numbers and everything, obviously she broke both meet records at the indoor championship. She broke the 10K meet record. They are now at 15 flat. They have gone sub 71 seconds for the first time in this race. 4:09 for the last mile.
So here's my thinking on the standard. She missed it by less than a second. She's got to run 14:52 or faster in order to have the standard. You can't possibly predict what the conditions will be like or how the race will go at the Olympic trials. You'd think those who don't have a standard are going to want to push the pace and get it in that race because you can get it at the trials, but you can't bet on that. So it seems to me, both these young ladies, it's like these conditions are decent. Let's just go for it and see if we can get it.
And you know you work well together. They've pushed each other in numerous appearances, even going back through the cross-country season. So they're taking advantage of a fantastic racing opportunity that they have. Also, as you start to see the field coming into play behind them, coming up on the 3K point right now, with 5 laps to go, they are just under 9 minutes.
I mean, it's hardly ideal conditions. It's high 70s and it's quite humid, even threatening a little bit of drizzle in the area. So it's not ideal conditions, but it could be worse than that in a couple of weeks up here, as we saw 3 years ago at the trials.
And we said that the sign, literally the sign, the signal, the cue was for Parker to see the giant fathead of herself that they hold up when they tell her to go. She must have gotten that signal really early on. 8:59 was their time through 3,000 meters, settled in right about 70.5 seconds per lap. And Hilda Olomomoy has attached herself to Parker Valby. She, just like Valby, running with immense confidence right now.
it's not like Gainesville and Tuscaloosa can't be hot and humid.
No.
So it's not like
and
they
it was
aren't used
at
to
the
it.
SEC championships, and you think about at the regional meet in the 10,000, they had to endure rainstorms and all sorts of conditions in that competition. With a mile to go, this is going to be a throwdown between Valby and Olomomoy.
Larry, you mentioned that Parker Valby did some cross-training and on the arc trainer. Can you explain what that is to the people at home to be able to manage running a 10,000 and a 5,000 in a 2-day span?
Oh, and then not only just that, you have to think about the Olympic trials coming up as well. So yes, it's those 2 races, but then what you have ahead of you as well. And not only have they complemented the cross-training to her workouts and what she's done on track, they also were very selective and intentional in how she raced over the course of the season. And she has put a huge gap on Hilda Olomomoy to this point. We are watching the clock as Parker Valby, and the dominance is on display.
Well, Olomomoy just could not hang with the pace as Valby she's a grinder. And as you mentioned, she often, in fact, almost always negative splits her distance races.
They have now dropped to a 14:57 pace. So yes, that would be...
No doubt she's going for it.
She's going to go for it. She's going to go for it. And why would you not? She runs so well by herself. She is used to being all alone and having no one to chase. And guys, yes, she has the individual title on her mind, but she told me leading into this championship, that is secondary. This is a big group of seniors looking to make their mark one more time on the Gators program. She said, this is so bittersweet. Our last NCAA championships together. We won it here in Eugene as a team 2 years ago. It is team over self. It is so much more fun to win with your teammates. So that is what is motivating her. Beyond all of the individual accomplishments, we have noted all the accolades, but Parker Valby is a teammate first and foremost, and this event is critical for the Florida Gators and their team hopes, as she also has Flomena Assicle in the hunt.
Flomena Assicle not in scoring position, not in the top 15. But Valby needs to go 4:52 flat for the Olympic qualifying standard. She's coming up with 2 laps remaining, I should say. And that would also, of course, eclipse her own overall collegiate record at 5,000 meters and shatter Caitlin Tuohy's record, the outdoor record that she set last year. So she is doing something unbelievable. She's trying to go for 5 NCAA titles in a single academic year. Susie Favor-Hamilton did it 4. Claire Eichner has done 4. Amy Skieritz did 4. Sally Kipyego did 4. Sally Kipyego, by the way, an Olympic medalist. Parker Valby just needs this 5,000 title to make it 5.
And Sally Kipyego, the former meet record holder, her record is about to go down. How much will she beat it by? Will she get this standard? She's going to get the collegiate record should she hold up this pace. She has knocked off consecutive 3 straight 71-second 400 meters, and I would expect this last lap will be blistering.
We'll get the time with 1 lap remaining. It's going to be tight. She's at 13:42 and change. She needs to go 70 or just slightly sub 70 to get under 14:52.
And she's doing this having run a 10K 2 days ago, less than 48 hours ago. She won the NCAA 10K title, below 71 seconds for that last 400 meters.
Hilda Olomomoy well back, but still running a very good race and a very good time for herself. But it's Parker Valby chasing not just a collegiate outdoor record, it's her own overall record, and ultimately, for later in the year, the Olympic qualifying standard of 14:52. She gets everything as she goes just under that time. Very smart, measuring herself, not trying to sprint too soon so that she runs out of gas.
She has an incredible ability to hammer at the point when everyone else is fighting fatigue. Parker Valby just gets better and better as a race goes on.
It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. 49, 50, 51. She just gets 200ths of a second. It could correct. It could correct. Just a moment. She gets 14:52.18. She breaks the collegiate record, but she misses the standard by 0.2 of a second. She gave everything and came up 0.2 short on the standard. She wins her 5th title in one academic year. It couldn't have been very much closer, and twice she has come within a second of a standard that she must have in order to compete at the Paris Olympic Games. I haven't seen it correct that far yet. That's a 0.2 correction. Well, that's a bittersweet performance. By the way, she's a junior. She is not a graduating senior.
She'll be done. This is it. This is it in her Florida career.
Doesn't seem like much left to accomplish at the collegiate level, does it?
If you guys notice, she's not tired at all. I mean, my legs are hurting for her after watching her run that race.
Well, my heart breaks for her to have put out that much effort and missed by that much. The new collegiate record holder, Parker Valby, double champion, winning the 10 2 nights ago. Her 5th NCAA title in one academic year. There just not enough superlatives to use when it comes to this young lady from Gainesville. We get a chance to talk to her when we come back to Eugene, Oregon, with just one event remaining. The 4x400 relay is next. Just moments ago, we saw Parker Valby of Florida win her 5th NCAA championship race, breaking her own collegiate record, but just missing the Olympic qualifying standard by 0.2 of a second. There is the embrace with the parents that have been traveling with her for the last few weeks, and they'll be right back here. They can stay right here for the next 2 weeks waiting for the Olympic trials to come to Eugene, Oregon. There is the official time. That's a new collegiate record, a new meet record, and her 5th title this academic year, and she's downstairs once again with John.
Parker Valby, you and I, we've been discussing who's been the most impressive, Parker, Wolf, Stokes, or you?
I think it's an elite name. Honestly, all of us.
That's all. It's the triple crown that, well, 4 of that happens here.
I told my coach, if Parker wins the 5K, I've got to win the 5K.
Okay, you put the hammer down in this thing. Looked like you were going for the standard. How did that feel about this race coming so close?
I wasn't necessarily going for the standard. The first lap was, 73-ish? I went straight to the back by accident. It just kind of took me a minute to get off the line. But I think, after the first lap, which was 73, I think I started going 72, 71, 70s.
Let's run through these real quick, and you tell me what you think of each of them. The cross-country championship in November.
So much fun. So much fun.
Okay. Indoor.
That's by far my favorite. I love cross-country.
Indoor, the 3.
That one hurt really bad.
Indoor, the 5.
That one also hurt really bad, but that one was a good motivator.
10 the other night.
That one was okay.
Just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you waited so long. You said you were bored during that.
It was a little out of my comfort zone.
Okay. And then today, what is probably, I don't know, we're talking secrets out of school, your last collegiate race.
Yes, stay tuned for the future.
Okay, but this one overall, your thought on it was?
Last one, best one. 3rd time's a charm. My third outdoor natties. Really bittersweet. Definitely was crying this morning.
Arkansas's got the 4x4 coming up. You guys have a precarious lead. Like, you can't run out there and tackle them. You know that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Last one. Your folks are here. Lara's told us
I can say a prayer.
They're basically nomads, right? What are they doing?
My parents?
Yeah, chasing you around here.
Chasing Parker.
So they've been to where? Gainesville to Lexington? Like, what's the? Give me the travel log.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know it personally. They send me selfies everywhere they go. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, we shouldn't parents shouldn't keep track of youngsters, and youngsters shouldn't be keeping track of their parents.
Definitely not. No.
Hey, congratulations on a great career and a great season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Parker Valby upstairs, guys.
All right, John. Well, what a season that young lady has had, and it's not necessarily over. follow her to the Olympic trials and see how that goes. There are the team standings. Florida does not have a team in the 4x400. They're done scoring. They have a 6-point lead over Arkansas, who happen to have the collegiate record in the 4x400 relay. But anything can happen. There's a baton involved. There are lines on the track. There are curves on the track. There are zones on the track. But on paper, this looks like a no-brainer. There is the collegiate record set 2 weeks ago by the Arkansas Razorbacks at home in Fayetteville at the West Regionals. A&M has the meet record. Obviously, Arkansas has the collegiate lead. There is the photo of the record that evening in Fayetteville 2 weeks ago tonight. And there they are. Arkansas in lane number 6, and looking at their lineup, everybody who scored the super sweep in the 400.
Well, actually not. Aaliyah Pyatt there subs in for Kaylin Brown, and this is what they did in the semifinals. And what's interesting is I think they're going to go for the record again, even without Kaylin Brown, because this is the last last go around for these seniors, and it's just like, hey, why not? Let's just get the record. Let's get out there. There's South Carolina, tough team. They're going to finish there with Jayla Jamison, who was 4th in the 200, and Jamisha Ford, who was 2nd in the 200. Keep an eye on them. Not running Kaylin Brown, that's an interesting move. They need to win this to win the championship. And that just tells me there's Jamisha Ford. And you know what, guys, this is such an awesome freshman season. And unfortunately, we're thinking about the Bowerman. She's on the Bowerman list, but I don't think anybody can beat Valby for the Bowerman trophy right now. You think about Mackenzie Long and Jamisha Ford and the seasons they've had, but you got to just think Bowerman's going to go to Parker Valby.
And then, of course, rounding this out, we've got Tennessee here, finishing with Brianna White. All the focus is going to be on Arkansas. Of course, Jamisha Ford for South Carolina split 49-7 in the semifinals. But don't count out Tennessee making a push here. This is the last run of the day, and crazier things have happened in the 4x400 meter relay. But Arkansas, I think they could actually even dip below 320 if they really lay the hammer down.
And these other teams are fresh. And I talked to Dwayne Ross. He was just gutted. He said, we had the best 4x1 team before the conference meet started. And then Jacia Sears goes down. He just said it was one hit after another getting to these championships.
From the inside, Oregon, Texas A&M, Georgia. In the middle, Texas, Houston, Arkansas. On the outside, South Carolina, Tennessee, and LSU. And I'm going to give this disclaimer because I'm holding this piece of paper that told me that all 4 of the finishers in the 400 were going to be on Arkansas's team. So we are given lineups, but they aren't necessarily correct, even though the coaches submit them. So if we misidentify your athlete or your child, it is not intentional. It is simply information that we've gotten that might not be correct. So there's that.
All right, Amber Anning goes first for the Arkansas Razorbacks there. This is a good start for them because she is so consistent, and she had a fantastic run. 3rd in the 400 meters, 49.59. But I talked to Amber Anning, and she said she has to compete at the British Championships. I said, what's her goals? And she said, there's only one goal at the British Championships, and that's to be the #1 400-meter runner for Great Britain. And she passes to Rosie Effiong, who just takes command in the first 40 meters.
50.3 leadoff for Amber Anning. And RG3, you said it. If they run the way they can easily go under 320. That's better than 50 seconds per, and Amber Anning did her job.
And one of the hardest things to do in the 4x400 meter relay is to run by yourself. Arkansas seems to have figured that out. They're going to continue to run against the clock, and you're going to see this lead grow and grow and grow as each leg goes by.
South Carolina doing as good a job as they possibly can to hang on. Sylvia Chalengat is the listed second leg runner for South Carolina, but all eyes on Arkansas. They need to win this to win it outright. Second place will also give them the title. 49.2 for Rosie Effiong. They're on sub-320 pace.
Okay, that second leg, that was Georgia in second position there, and that second leg was run by Aaliyah Butler. She's also only one of the athletes outside of Arkansas athletes who went under 50 flat this year, but she did not make the 400-meter finals. But look who's up for Arkansas. That's Nikisha Price.
The national champion who ran 48.89, and now in the back, We've got a little battle going on between Texas, Oregon, and Georgia, but Nikisha Price coming down this home stretch. She is going to those arms like we talked about. Look at her fly.
This is going to be an amazing split. I can't wait for Tom Lewis to tell me what it is.
Well, Texas
49-2.
Texas gets the baton second. Georgia not far behind them. But Aaliyah Pyatt, she's going final.
If she goes 50-point low, they go under 320.
That's Kaylin Brown. Aaliyah Pyatt was on the sideline, and they showed her. Now we see Kaylin Brown, and this is the runner-up at the 400 meters. She's always hard charging, but they had enough faith in the freshman to put her last. What a freshman year she's had this season.
And she is going for it. She knows what's at stake. First of all, if they finish third, which they're not, unless they drop the baton 6 times, they will outright win the national title. She is going for it because she knows what the time is. So this is got an amazing time. 3:17.94. They have just obliterated their own record by almost 4 full seconds. That is better than 49.5 per carry, and that last carry was 49.05 by Kaylin Brown. 6th in world history, not far off the American record, which is set 36 years ago in Seoul.
Holy cow, guys. They called the hogs on that one, didn't they?
Well, 2 Americans on that team, a runner from Great Britain and another one from Jamaica. Absolutely phenomenal. I'll tell you what, if these 400-meter runners around the world, and that's Shanae Miller-Weibo, she's got to be worried. Like in Claver, she's got to be worried when they see the young lady, Nikisha Price from Jamaica. You see Amber Anning from Great Britain. I'll tell you, if I'm a 400-meter runner and I'm getting ready for the Olympic trials, I'm worried about Rosie Effiong and Kaylin Brown. They're going to be a big factor at the Olympic trials this year.
And lost in the shuffle, by winning that 4x400, Arkansas clinches
the title
in the last event. Both the men's and women's finals came down to the 4x4, and John has got them gathered together. He's got them down on the track.
Points. Exactly. All right, I'm down here, I hope. I hear my microphone. I don't know if anybody else does. All right, I've been told they hear me. Sorry. Listen, you run 3:17.96 and you lose your mind, at least as you try to talk to people. First off, you come in and you know you're probably the favorite, but you need the points to win. Do you feel that pressure on the line?
Definitely. I think we had to set the tone with the 400, so coming 1, 2, 3, and 4 was just so beautiful for us. And we knew we had the talent going into this. We already had the collegiate record, but to go out and put it together, especially when the title's on the line, it just means something different. So I'm just so grateful that I put the girls in a good position and we just finished it and got it around.
You probably have discussed maybe what can we run. Did you envision something sub 3:18 in your life?
Definitely. I think Coach said that we might have got it at regionals, but you know what, we were close. And I think just knowing that the team title was on the line here, it just meant more. So we just went out there and gave it our best shot. I mean, it's 3 of us. It's our last time collegiately running, so we want to finish with a bang. But to get that and also a team title, it's just so special.
Yeah, and let's get a word about the super sweep with the 400 because it really set you up to go, and it's never been done before in NCAA history.
Yeah, I mean, that was just phenomenal. And I think we knew that we could do it, but for it to actually go into fruition and see us finish and even run those sort of times, I mean, I've never seen something like that collegiately. I've been watching track for a long time before I came to college, so I'm so happy to be part of history. But, you know, kudos to Coach Johnson and our team and Coach Boogie for just setting the tone for us and, you know, believing on us. It's been hard, but we trusted ourselves, the coach, God, and we just went out there and did what needed to be done to help our team.
Well, your team had been sprawled out, but now they get up. It's no way we're out of time because we got to go give you a trophy. Go see your team. Go see your coach, Amber Anning. Dwight?
All right, John. What a great way to put a cap on an amazing NCAA championships. Let's take a look at the official race results. That 3:17.96 is 49.49 average per carry. And remember, Amber Anning started off brilliantly with a 50.3, but closed did Caitlin Brown with 49.05. Tennessee well back in second, Texas third. And with that time and that victory, Arkansas clinched the team title by 4 points over Florida. Texas snuck into third place by a half a point past Oregon, but it was Arkansas, thanks to that super sweep in the 400 where they won. They earned 29 points in one event. And it's not like everything went their way. I mean, Rachel Glenn did not score in the high jump. She was third in the 400 hurdles. They had some other hiccups. No scorer in the 5,000. But those 400-meter runners, as we set up, it was all about them.
Well, and they were going to put their best team out there. That was, that unfortunately for Mike Holloway in Florida, when you see that foursome step out there, it's like, okay, well, we can't win this thing. That's just kind of a done deal. But it was Arkansas's year. And what's amazing is the transition from Lance Harder to Chris Johnson, and he steps onto the national stage with authority. He's changed the look of the program. A lot of distance runners at Arkansas. Now there's a ton of quarter milers there. So congratulations to him. He's no doubt going to be the coach of the year, but it was Arkansas's years both indoors and outdoors on the ladies' side.
And guys, when we look at this meet in totality, I mean, we have a triple crown winner, Mackenzie Long from Ole Miss, 4x1, 100 and 200. We had the sweep, the super sweep, like you said, Dan, in the 400 meter by Arkansas. You have a 3:17 in the 4x400 meter relay, and also Nikisha Price going 48.89. I mean, who said that track and field is not exciting?
Stanford 1 and 2 in the women's 800. Juliet Whitaker winning the first women's outdoor 800-meter title for the Cardinal. And, of course, punctuated by Parker Valby winning 2 titles in this outdoor championship, breaking the records along the way.
Well, once again, a memorable NCAA championships here at the home of a track in the United States, the Olympic trials here in a couple of weeks. Now, enough about us. Let's get downstairs to John to present the trophy.
Thank you, Dwight Stones. Thank you, Mike J. Great in-stadium announcing. Shannon Roberry as well for your work over the last couple of days. It's been a wonderful meet here at Hayward Field, the 17th time that they have hosted this championship, and we'll be back here in 25 and 26 and 27. But for the 2024 business and the women's championship, we bring on from the track and field committee of the NCAA and head coach at Ole Miss, Connie Price-Smith.
Yeah, on behalf of the NCAA, I'd like to say congratulations to the University of Arkansas, and I'd like to present this first place championship trophy to Coach Chris Johnson.
Coach Chris Johnson, one of the few track coaches in the state that's undefeated. 2 NCAA championships, 2 wins. Like, how hard can this job be?
I don't know, but I'm fortunate right now. I'd like to thank the staff, obviously the staff, the coaching staff, the nutrition staff, strength staff, and all the administrators that came in to support Arkansas track and field. It's just been fantastic.
Kind of want to separate this into 2 things real quick. First, let's have you gloat or tell us about the specialness of that group of 400-meter runners you had.
Well, it kind of started last year. We knew what we had coming in. Obviously, as a freshman, we wouldn't know that she would go from 53 seconds to 49 seconds. But as time passed by, she just kept getting better and better and better. And I think it's just a tribute to everyone that's working with these young ladies, including myself, to get them to this point, to keep them healthy, and to be able to execute in a tremendous meet like this. We're fortunate and we're blessed.
But you don't win strictly with them. A word on you get points out of the steeple, you get points out of the hurdles, you get points out of the 10K, and the importance of those members of the squad.
Everybody on the team is important. Destiny is probably the biggest one to step up. Huey, short stuff. Obviously, Rachel Glenn, the steeplechase, Laura Taborda, she just ran out of her mind. The young lady, Sydney, in the 10K. I mean, this team is just well-rounded. They competed tough. We knew what was the plan coming in, but to be able to go out and execute that under this stress and this level of competition, hey, we can't be any more happier.
Came in 4x4, you knew you had the fastest team, but Florida made you get the stick around. Any nerves there going into the last event?
Obviously, there's always nerves. We want to make sure we protect the stick, but we had a goal in mind coming in here to break the collegiate record again. We talked to the young ladies before we came out. just to take care of the stick. But we knew we could get out there and run fast. And thanks to the crowd and thanks to the fans that we got it done.
Broke it, smashed it. Congratulations. We'll let you do the Woo Pig Suey, and we'll throw it back upstairs to Dwight Stokes. Congratulations, Coach.
Appreciate it.
All right, John. Well, coming up next on ESPN, UFC Fight Night. Congratulations to Arkansas on winning the women's team title and to Florida for the men's team title yesterday, as well as all of the individual event champions. Thank you for joining us over these last 4 days from Eugene, Oregon. For John Anderson, RG3, Dan O'Brien, Laura Overton, and our great statisticians, Tom Lewis and Rich Benoit, and our great production staff, I am Dwight Stones. Thank you so much for watching, and so long, everybody. See you next year.